Good morning, Oklahoma. Welcome to Cow-Calf Corner. Our topic this week is breeding objectives and selection pressure as we continue our series on replacement heifers and building back our nation's cow herd better. What is a breeding goal? It's basically the notion of the best type of animal that we're hoping results from our selection and mating program. Selection pressure is how we apply pressure to certain traits in order to accomplish that breeding goal. Now, breeding objectives, selection pressure become really important in commercial cow-calf operations as we think about generating replacement heifers. The selection and mating decisions we're making right now are going to result in the cows that we're living with a decade down the road. So, we want to be deliberate and intentional in the way we think about breeding objectives and where we're going to apply selection pressure. A quick example. If we select for all the weaning and yearling weight that we can possibly get and never pay attention to mature cow size or mature cow height, those traits are all highly positively genetically correlated, and we could end up tethered to a cow herd for a decade that's really big and has a really high input cost. As opposed to that, if we determine an upper limit of mature cow weight and mature cow height that we're willing to accept, and then apply selection pressure to more weaning and yearling weight relative to that, we probably end up with a more optimum trade-off with regard to weight of calves and revenue generated each year relative to those input and maintenance costs on the cow herd that we're paying for year-round. We always say 80 to 90% of genetic change over time is a result of sire selection. Whether we're picking out herd bulls, picking out AI sires, or picking through those heifers that we just weaned and determining which one to become cows, additive genetic change is a cumulative and permanent thing if we can achieve what we want. 4 things to keep in mind about any trait before we include it as a breeding objective or apply selection pressure. First is the heritability, that proportion of phenotypic variation that is due to additive genetic variation. Second thing is measurability. We've got to be able to measure a trait before we can effectively select for it. Third thing is economic importance. We want to make sure that a particular trait at a particular level is contributing to the profit potential of our cow-calf operation. And the fourth thing is the genetic correlation of that trait relative to other things we are including or maybe not including in a selection program. I refer back to that previous example of what happens to mature cow size if we never pay attention to it while selecting for weaning and yearling weight. Final take-home point this week: your proper breeding objectives and where you apply selection pressure is unique to your own commercial cow-calf operation. Shouldn't be based on what your neighbors are doing or who you buy bulls from. You really need to analyze your production system. Take a look at your forage base, your financial situation, when you intend to market calves. We'll get into that deeper next week when we talk about analyzing that production system and some of those performance metrics that you want to take into consideration. Until then, thanks for joining us on Cow-Calf Corner.